Hawks, Hoops, Talk, and Squawk. A soaring salute to Iguodala, who announces his retirement from the NBA after 19 seasons. Iggy, prior to being a four-time NBA champion with the Dynasty Golden State Warriors, including the 2015 NBA Finals MVP, Iguodala spent the first 8 seasons of his NBA career with the Philadelphia 76ers, drafted 9th overall in the 2004 NBA draft. He joined the Sixers team that had the disastrous 2003-2004 season. Philly winning only 33 games against 49 defeats. In the season where Allen Iverson only appeared in 48 games and started in 47, was that infamous game where then Sixer interim coach Chris Ford had AI come off the bench, and Detroit against the Pistons and former Sixer coach Larry Brown, of all places. That was a horrible season as a Sixers fan because the team had high hopes going into that season. Yeah, it was the first season of the post-Larry Brown era, who has stepped down after 6 seasons. The 2003 season that ended in disappointment, and all of a sudden LB just quit on the team. Apparently he had it with Iverson, and whatever shenanigans was going on over there, who knows. But of all places, he goes to Detroit and winds up coaching that team to a championship, while the Sixers just missed the playoffs altogether. So that was an awful season for Sixer fans. I mean, it was a good NBA season and all. That Detroit team was a fun team to watch, how they shut teams down on the defensive end. It was also the NBA debut to LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade. It was the final season of the Shaq, Kobe, Lakers era. So as a hoops fanatic, it was an overall good season, but from a Sixers fan standpoint, it was a disastrous one. So going into the 2004-2005 season with the rookie Iguodala, there was high hopes there because there was a lot of ravings of him coming out of Arizona. So Iggy didn't disappoint. Although his first year, he averaged just 9 points a game, just under 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.7 steals, appeared and started in all 82 games. And he had some highlights, boy, man. Dude was athletic. That was the one thing you noticed about him from the jump. He was athletic and he was a great defender. Like, he had a lot of highlight dunks. And he was fun to watch. And even in the playoffs, although it was a quick first round exit to the defending champion Pistons, who would go on to win the Eastern Conference again, Iggy averaged just under 10 points in the 5 playoff games. Remember, we traded for Chris Webber at the trade deadline, and everybody expected the Sixers to climb back towards the top of the East. I mean, although that never happened, but as I've stated in my Iverson videos about how he got a raw deal from the league, Sixers were chiseled out of a lot of wins, which affected their playoff results. Because that 2004-2005 team should have won more than some damn 43 games. that is a 49 and 50 win squad at least. They would have won the Atlantic Division. Not saying they would have went deep into the playoffs, because 2005 and 2006, Detroit and Miami were top dog in the East. So Sixers weren't beating those two teams regardless in the playoff series. But they should have at least been a second round team in each of Iguodala's first 3 years in the league. There's no question about that. No question about that at all. But yeah, Iguodala's first year, he didn't fail to disappoint. You know, the Sixers were back in the playoffs despite, like I said, being chiseled out of those wins. Iguodala would make the all-rookie first team, the first rookie since Allen Iverson to accomplish that feat. His second season, 2005-2006, again appearing and started in all 82 games, playing 37.6 minutes a game, which was almost 5 minutes more from the 32.8 that he logged as a rookie. Scoring average went up to 12.3, averaged just under 6 rebounds a game, 3.1 assists, 1.6 steals. And again, he had some amazing highlights that year. It was a game against the Celtics. It was a triple overtime game where Kyle Korver hit a 3-pointer, descended into that triple overtime, where Iggy had a nasty dunk. I mean, he had a lot of those, but it's like this dunk just stood out. it really stood out, that dunk. Yeah, Iggy's scoring definitely went up in his second season. And in 2005-2006 is one of the biggest robbery jobs in Sixers history. Because not only should that team have again won the Atlantic Division and won at least 48 games, because in reality, due to the mistreatment of the answer, Philly finishes 38-44 and misses the playoffs. Now, this was Iverson's best statistical season. He averaged a career high 33 points a game. You know what I mean? Just over 7 assists a game. You had Chris Webber in his lone full season with the Sixers that year. He averaged 20.2 points a game, just under 10 rebounds, played and started in 75 out of the 82 games. Meanwhile, Iverson played and started in 72 games, a career high 33 points, like I stated, 7.4 assists, and just under 2 steals. In that year, the answer shot 44% from the floor. 44%, which for AI is pretty good. You know, the only time he shot better from the floor was in his second season in the league. But like the league, I'm telling you, he didn't like Iverson. He didn't. Then you had Andre Iguodala averaging 12.3 points a game. That was a good Sixer team that should have won more than some 38 games. Like, that's a disgrace. Like I said, Iggy probably could have added a couple of defensive awards, defensive first team selections, had the Sixers had to finish in the standings where they were supposed to. You had Kyle Korver, who was a sniper. It's not asinine to say that he's probably the best three-point shooter in Sixer history. He averaged 11.5 that year. Samuel Diamondbear, solid 7.3 points, 8.2 rebounds, 2.4 blocks. Sammy D wasn't called on to score. He was called on to protect the paint, which he did. He was a pretty decent center. You know what I mean? Our rotation, John Salmons, Willie Green. Although Willie only appeared in 10 games that year, he was coming back from injury. Now, this is by far a championship team, but that team should at least won the division and advance at least to the second round of the postseason. The second biggest robbery that year, which is the biggest robbery in all-star competition history, is the 2006 Slam Dunk Contest. Ain't no way y'all should have gave it to Lil Nate Robinson after he tried like 25,000 times to dunk over little old Spud Webb. Like after the third failed attempt, it should have been a wrap. That was just the league's way of fucking the Sixers. They ain't want AI's teammates to win nothing. Iguodala should have ran away with that slam dunk contest. And I don't blame him for never participating again. Like he was robbed. Blatant highway robbery. Like I said, I don't care what nobody says. Andre Iguodala is the true 2006 NBA All-Star Weekend slam dunk champion. I don't care what nobody says. That was just highway robbery. You know what I mean? It's just sad that the league fucked the Sixers like that. Not only are they being chiseled out of wins, which results in them either having low playoff results or missing the playoffs, but then y'all don't even let Iggy win the slam. Y'all don't even give him the slam dunk title he deserved. But moving on. And oh, by the way, it's that the league's blatant mistreatment of Iverson and his team that led to him being traded 15 games into the 2006-2007 season. Now, on the bright side, that's the year where Iguodala really took off, averaged 18.2 points a game, played and started in 76 games, 5.7 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 2 steals, 40.3 minutes a game. Now, while Andre Miller, who was traded for Iverson, is no answer, but the two Dre's did make a good tandem over the almost 3 seasons that they did play together. So you might as well say Andre Miller played 3 seasons in Philly. He played in 57 and started 56 games in that first season, averaged 13.6 points, 7.3 assists, and 1.3 steals, 37.6 minutes a game. They were a great tandem. And even though the Sixers that year finished 35 and 47, again missing the playoffs, I seen a glimmer of hope in that team. I said, this team can be a playoff team the following season. And the following season, they did just that. You know, by now, AI's in Denver. We had waived Chris Webber. He wound up signing on with Detroit. But during the 2007 offseason, we drafted Thaddeus Young with the 12th pick. And the 2007-2008 season is where Iggy really solidified himself as a franchise player. Averaged a career high 19.9 points a game, 5.4 rebounds, just under 5 assists, 2.1 steals, Played and started in all 82 games, 39.5 minutes a game. Now, Philly only finished 40 and 42 and managed to get that 7th seed in the playoffs. Once again, Detroit's our first round opponent, but they're not the same Pistons from a few years earlier that had dominated the East. You know, they still had a good core. They still had a majority of their core. You know what I mean? Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Rasheed Wallace, but Ben Wallace was gone. Larry Brown, I think, was coaching the Knicks at that time, either the Knicks or the Bobcats. But they were still a good team, and they would go back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the 6th consecutive season. But anyway, I remember we went into Detroit, and we took that first game in Detroit. And I remember watching it on TV because it's like I didn't even have no hopes going into that season, really. I'm like, well, going into that series, I'm like, yeah, like if we win one game, that'll be good. But we went into Detroit, took that first game 90-86. Then won game 3 at home, 95-75, to take a 2-1 series lead. And I'm like, hey, maybe we could pull off the upset, but Detroit, they rebound and win the next 3 games to end the series. But that 2007-2018 was a fun team to watch. You know, Sixer legend Mo Cheeks coaching the team. Iguodala rising up the ranks, becoming one of the more respected players in the league. Young players like Lou Williams and rookie Thaddeus Young making their name. Andre Miller was solid. Samuel Diamondbear, a solid player. Sammy D averaged 10.5 points, 10.4 boards in 07-08, 2.3 blocks. It was a pretty good team on a rise. Then suddenly it just got better when we signed Elton Brand. And I'm like, we're not a championship team, but with Elton Brand, we can definitely at least be a top 4 team in the East. But Elton Brand winds up getting injured and appears in just 29 games in the 08-09. Iguodala, meanwhile, averages just under 19 points a game, 5.7 boards, 5.3 assists, 1.6 steals, and 39.9 minutes a game. Again, playing and starting in all 82 games. Unfortunately, Mo Cheeks is fired after 23 games into the season. Philly 9-14 at the time. He's replaced by Tony DeLeo. We finished 32-27. Managed to finish 41-41. 6th seed in the East. We draw the Orlando Magic in the first round. Now, I went down to Orlando for those first 2 games. And when Iguodala hit that clutch shot to give us that 100-98 victory, man, I was hyped. Dre finished with 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists that game. Lou Williams off the bench had 18 points, and Niall Marshall came off the bench with 11 points. Then we won game 3 on that Thaddeus Young game winner, winning 96-94 to take the 2-1 lead. But then in game 4, Hito Turkoglu broke all of our hearts when he hit that dagger to seal Orlando's 84-81 victory. Magic eventually closed the series out in 6, and that was that. That marked the end of the iconic black and gold era 76er jerseys. That would also be the last time that Iguodala, let me see. Now, he would lead the team in scoring one more season. That disastrous, damn near forgettable 2009-2010 Eddie Jordan Princeton's I can't even say it. That's how terrible it is. Princeton offense. Whatever happened there. I got tongue-tied because it was bullshit. Oh, man, the era of the three Eds. Ed Snyder, Ed Stefanski, and Eddie Jordan. Oh, man, a terrible season. The highlight of that season was Iverson making his return to the Sixers. That was the highlight of that season. 27-55. Iguodala playing and starting in all 82 games. 17 points a game, 5.8 assists, 6.5 boards, 1.7 steals, 38.9 minutes a game. Thaddeus Young only appeared in 67 games. Iverson came back for 24 games, starting in 24. Averaged just under 14 points a game, 4.1 assists. You know, he had that memorable game against Kobe on January 29th. Elton Brand, 76 games, starting in 57. Averaged 13 points. Lou Williams, 14 points a game. That was just an awful season. That was the first season that we went back to the classic red, white, and blue Sixer colors. Man, that's a season I like to forget from a Sixer standpoint. NBA-wise, it was a good season. You know what I mean? Kobe took the Lakers to back-to-back titles. LeBron had another MVP season in Cleveland. Everybody was hoping to finally get that Kobe and LeBron finals. I mean, but naturally, that didn't happen. Not naturally, but unfortunately, that didn't happen because that would have been a hoops head's dreams. But that Prince's offense season was a disgrace. But there was hope along the way as former Sixer Doug Collins would take the sidelines for the next 3 seasons. We had the second pick in the draft. We take Evan Turner. I mean, some people say Evan Turner was a bust to be a second pick. I mean, Doug Collins didn't use him right. Just plain and simple. And that's another topic for another video, but Doug Collins didn't utilize Evan Turner right. He should have started in more than some 14 games while he played his 78 as a rookie. Yet he still managed to average 7.2 points off the bench. But Iguodala, 14.1 points a game. Elton Brand would lead the team in scoring that season with 15 points a game. Iguodala, 5.8 boards, 6.3 assists, 1.5 steals, 36.9 minutes. His minutes started to go down some. Philly goes back to the playoffs, 7th seed. We draw LeBron and the Miami Heat in the first round. Heat go up 3-0. We win game 4. Drew Holiday and Lou Williams hitting clutch baskets down the stretch. You know, and that was that. Iguodala's 8th and final season in Philly is the 35-31 8th seed season. We started 20-9, but then finished the season 15-22. Tragic, because we should have been a top 4 seed in the East that year, but we wound up finishing with the 8th seed. Draw the Chicago Bulls in the first round, led by defending MVP Derrick Rose. Lose the first game in Chicago, but unfortunately D Rose goes down with an injury that would unfortunately derail his career. It's good to see that he's still in the league and embrace his role as a role player. Shout out to him. We win game 2, 109-92. And when we won game 2, I had stated before the series began, though, that Sixers was going to win in 6. I just had a feeling we was going to pull off an upset. Now, I wasn't predicting no injuries on the Bulls' part, but I did have the Sixers winning in 6. So by taking a game in Chicago, we did what we had to do by winning all 3 home games to win this series in 6. Iguodala came through in the clutch and hit those clutch free throws to seal the 79-78 victory. Man, those were the most 2 important foul shots in Iggy's career. That series, he only averaged 12 points a game, just under 6 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Iggy's last couple of seasons with the Sixers, he wasn't the scorer that he was during his top 3 years, 06, 07 through, well, his top 4 years, 06, 07 through 09, 10. But, however, Iguodala would make the All-Star team his 8th season in the league, despite averaging just 12.4 points a game, 1.7 steals, 6.1 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and 35.6 minutes a game. He would make the All-Star team. The lone All-Star appearance of his career. And then unfortunately he was traded in that disastrous trade that landed Philly Andrew Bynum, which all led to the rebuild and the process in the Sixer era that we have today. But Andre Iguodala, during his 8 seasons of Philly, he was underrated and he was also unappreciated. And it has a large part to do with that big contract he had got. But who's going to turn down a max, at the time, a max contract? Nobody. You know, Iguodala was a utility player. He could score, he could defend, he could rebound. He got his teammates involved. He did everything needed. And one of the big things is he was playing in the wrong role for the most part. Whereas when he went to Golden State, he was in a perfect role at Golden State. Now, not saying in Philly he would have been your 5th or 6th best player, but Iguodala he's not going to be your leading scorer or your best player on a championship team. And that's no disrespect to him. That's just, he'll tell you that himself. Andre Iguodala is 10th in Sixers franchise history in points with 9,422 points. He's 5th in franchise history in triple doubles with 8, trailing Wilt Chamberlain with 62, Ben Simmons with 32, Billy Cunningham with 14, and Charles Barkley with 10. As far as points, he trails Hal Greer, 21,586, Allen Iverson, 19,931, Dolph Schayes, 18,438, Julius Erving, 18,364, Charles Barkley, 14,184, Billy Cunningham, 13,626, Johnny Kerr, 11,699, Joel Embiid, who's moving up those ranks, 10,718, and Morris Cheeks, 10,429. Andre Iguodala is 6th in all-time in steals, 1.7 a game. And 4th all-time in total steals behind Maurice Cheeks, 1,942. Allen Iverson, 1,644. Julius Erving, 1,508. Iguodala, to me, he will be on my all-time Philadelphia 76er roster only because he's a versatile player. He gives you defense. He can score, rebound. He'll do what's asking you to do. Now, this is also another topic for another video. But if you do a all-franchise team for any of the 30 franchises, there's going to be 16 roster spots. You know, you want to get 13 active players and 3 on the reserve. You know, but those 3 on the reserve will still get ample playing time throughout the season in all NBA franchise mode. But again, that's another topic for another video. Same thing with the 2000 era Sixers and the black and gold 76er thread era team. Iguodala definitely headline both of those squads. But anyway, shout out to Andre Iguodala. And since they're lowering the bar for the Hall of Fame, Iggy thinks he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but I think he'll get in just off the strength that he was a key component for that Warriors dynasty. You know, as far as having his number retired or anything, I don't see that. You never know. But I think even Iggy would tell you, no, his number won't be retired. He wouldn't even want that. Iggy was a good dude. I mean, throughout his 8 years in Philly, I would run into him when I would go up to PCOM. Because remember, when I was a student going to Brook, that 1 year, that semester, I worked over at PCOM where the Sixers practiced at. So even after I had graduated and everything, I still knew the guys that ran the athletic center. So I would pop up there here and there and kind of check out the team behind the scenes. I mean, I would say what's up to Iggy. Had a little brief convos, nothing serious, but he was always a good, modest, humble dude. You know what I mean? He played hard. In my opinion, he deserved that contract he got, along with all the success he had with the dynasty Golden State Warriors. And he has an incredible highlight reel. Should have been the 2006 Slam Dunk champion. And he should have more playoff success under his belt as a 76er, including being on division winning teams in 2004-05, 2005-06, and 2006-07. Each of those come with first round victories and getting as far as the Eastern Conference semifinals. But be on the lookout for the Andre Iguodala Sixer highlight reel. I'm going to post on my platform later on within the next couple of days. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content. Hawk out.